Coming up next on this edition of In the City, Mercury Boulevard is one of the busiest streets in Murfreesboro. The city is always striving to make this area safer and more accessible for citizens. I'll tell you all about a new proposed idea coming up. Plus, the landfill Rutherford County uses to dispose of solid waste is filling up fast. Find out what the city is doing to prepare for our future solid waste needs. And Miracle Field, a specially designed baseball field for special needs kids, is starting to take shape. We will show you the progress being made. But first, a local Murfreesboro City School principal is being nominated for Principal of the Year. She is just one of 9 principals in the state to be nominated. We'll tell you all about those stories and more coming up right now on this edition of In the City. Welcome to another edition of In the City, your source for what's happening right here in the city of Murfreesboro. I'm Cecilia Herrell. Many of you may know Robin Newell. She is the principal of Mitchell-Nielsen Schools and has recently been nominated by the state of Tennessee for Principal of the Year. This is a huge accomplishment, so I went to find out more about this inspiring woman. Murfreesboro City Schools is home to many amazing educators. Robin Newell is one of those people. Miss Newell is the principal of Mitchell-Nielsen Schools. Normally, her school gets all of the attention, but this time the spotlight is shining bright on the school's leader. Miss Newell has been nominated for the Principal of the Year by the state of Tennessee. She is one of just 9 principals in the state that have been nominated.
I'm quite honored to have even been nominated. It's quite a thrill, and my favorite thing is that it brings such good PR to our school, and I love to get out the story of what's going on at Mitchell-Nielsen. So anytime I can tell the story of the great things going on here, it really makes me happy.
Miss Newell began her educational career 20 years ago and has been a principal for 9 years.
I was the RTI coordinator for the district, and before that I was an instructional coach here, Murfreesboro City Schools, and before that I taught first grade at Cason Lane Academy, and then before that I taught school in Chattanooga.
She strives to make sure Mitchell-Nielsen students receive the best education and gain valuable leadership skills that they can carry with them throughout their lives.
My favorite thing about being a principal is the relationships that I have with the students here and their families. I greet everyone every morning on our daily news by saying good morning to the best teachers and the smartest students in the world, and I honestly believe that. It's just a great place to be. It's a happy place to be.
Miss Newell is undeniably passionate about her job. So where did the passion for education begin?
Actually, after my son was born, I decided to go back to college and wanted to be able to help children, and I went back and got my teaching degree at Middle Tennessee State, and just decided that that would be the way to make an impact and to help change children's lives, and just kept going from there.
When she is not at school, Miss Newell enjoys spending time with her family. Miss Newell is happily married, has 2 children, and a dog that she loves dearly.
My husband works for State Farm. He's a team manager for the auto claims. And my son, Parker, is 25. He lives in Chattanooga. He is getting married in May, so we're planning a wedding, looking forward to that. He graduated from the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga in finance, so he works in Chattanooga. And my daughter is Maggie, and she is a freshman at MTSU. We're excited to have her. She lives on campus and majoring in fashion merchandising, so she's excited about that. So we have an empty nest except for my dog Bo. We like to spend our weekends at the lake and cheering for MTSU football and resting up to get ready to come back and do this all again on Monday.
Whether she wins or not, Miss Newell has helped shape Mitchell-Nielsen Schools into the amazing learning environment it is today. October 25th is when the winner will be announced, and the city of Murfreesboro is very hopeful for Miss Newell. Reporting for CityTV, I'm Cecilia Herrell. The construction of Miracle Field is well underway. When it's completed, this will be an amazing addition to the city. Not many places exist for special needs children.
The construction of Miracle Field of Murfreesboro, in front of Sportscom, is well underway. Miracle Field is a rubberized field to provide opportunities for children with disabilities to play baseball. David Price's foundation, Project 14, is currently raising money to reimburse the city of Murfreesboro for the construction of the project. The facility will also have a standard baseball-softball field, playground for all abilities, restrooms, concessions, main plaza with the baseball water feature, and 2 donor walls. Danny McConnell, construction superintendent, talks about what it means to work on such an important facility.
You know, it's an honor for me to be out here and working on this field, and the subs take the same attitude. You know, it's something special when you're able to work on a facility like this. You know, the guys take a lot of pride in what they're doing out here, and knowing it's for the kids. We're on schedule. Everything's we're pushing really hard right now because the rainy season in Murfreesboro, it's coming up on us. So we're pushing real hard to get the concrete work in. The Miracle Field itself is built on a concrete slab, and we're probably about 95% complete on the slab. We've also got the concessions building and the restroom building, the footings in. We already have the plumbing in, inspected, everything's ready to go, so we're just hoping the weather will hold off and let us continue to go.
As work is going on, McConnell talks about residents stopping to ask questions about construction of the facility.
Since day one, we've had a lot of interest from the general public. They've stopped in asking what it is, and when you tell them, 90% of them either have a neighbor with a child that's disabled, or they have a grandson, or a son themselves. I even had a utility worker come out and was asking, and his son, they said it was basically an answered prayer.
If you would like to donate to the Miracle Field construction or be a part of the paver program, information is available at www.project14.org. Or email Bonnie Price, father of David, at bonnie@project14.org.
Murfreesboro is a fast-growing city, and so is our solid waste. Middle Point Landfill, where Rutherford County and 18 other counties dispose of solid waste, is reaching capacity. Our city and county leaders recently came together to plan for the future. Rutherford County is growing every day. When the population grows, the amount of waste we produce also grows. Murfreesboro City Council and Rutherford County recently made the joint decision to select Gershman, Brinkner, and Bratton, also known as GBB, a solid waste management consulting firm, to develop a 20-year plan for solid waste collection and disposal in Rutherford County. Rutherford County currently uses Middle Point Landfill for its disposal needs, which is located in Walter Hill. Rutherford County is just one of 19 counties who use this landfill. Middle Point Landfill opened in 1987 and is expected to reach capacity no later than 2025, which is only 9 years away. Murfreesboro Mayor Shane McFarland and Rutherford County Mayor Ernest Burgess helped establish a planning committee in April of 2015 that came to the conclusion that a solid waste management consulting firm would be needed to help plan for our future disposal needs. GBB will explore a variety of options for waste disposal, including recycling, gasification, and waste-to-energy options. The study is expected to take 11 months. For more information, visit our website at www.murfreesborotn.gov. Reporting for CityTV, I'm Cecilia Herrell. Mercury Boulevard is a heavily traveled area. The city has proposed an idea to put in sidewalks to make the street more accessible and safer for our community. But there are some requirements.
The city of Murfreesboro is applying for a federal transportation grant for a pedestrian improvement project along Mercury Boulevard from Southeast Broad Street to Middle Tennessee Boulevard. One of the requirements of the grant is to host a public meeting to get input from citizens. The meeting was held at Patterson Park Community Center.
Part of the application for this grant, we're required to have a a public meeting where we will actually take input from citizens on what they would like to see happen along this corridor during this project.
This is a very competitive grant, meaning there are several other cities that are also applying for this money.
It is a very competitive process. We know that there's about $12 million available in this particular pool. This particular project is going to be about 1.2, so you can see that that's about 10% of that money. There's typically about 40 applicants in various cities throughout, so the construction is 80% federal funded, 20% local funded. City be responsible for 20% of the match for that project.
The proposed project is at the intersection of Southeast Broad Street and Mercury Boulevard and extends to Middle Tennessee Boulevard. Sidewalks will be installed along both sides of Mercury Boulevard, and with Kroger moving into the old Roses building in the near future, pedestrians will have a safe access to the shopping center.
Improvements that we're looking at is on Mercury Boulevard, actually installing sidewalks from Broad Street down to Middle Tennessee Boulevard. We're trying to do everything within the existing right-of-way, and that is part of the process. We are, looking at putting in handicap pedestrian movements at the signals for Broad Street, also Middle Tennessee Boulevard, and we're also looking at the new proposed signal at First Street, which will be going in when the Kroger's move in.
This area is already served by Rover, the city's transit system, but with the addition of sidewalks and crosswalks, it will be safer and easier to access the vehicles.
With having sidewalks on both sides, it will also help the ridership for Rover. We've got 2 schools here, we've got Patterson Park, we've got, the housing in this area. So we think it's a good location to increase and help the pedestrian movement.
The Discovery Center is an exciting place to take your children, and it just became even more exciting. The Discovery Center has opened a new exhibit called 5 Senses, and I went to find out what it's all about. The Discovery Center is a hands-on educational museum located right here in the city of Murfreesboro. The Discovery Center recently added a new exhibit called 5 Senses.
We opened 5 Senses in early July, on July 2nd. It is our newest permanent exhibit here at the Discovery Center. It will not be going anywhere for the foreseeable future.
As humans, we gather information about our environment through the use of sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. We use these 5 senses every day without even realizing they are being used. This exhibit is full of hands-on activities where you can explore your senses and learn how your brain computes sensory data. The hearing section features a giant ear and has headphones so you can explore different sounds. The smell section has a variety of scents you can smell, all while staring at a very large nose. The touch section has, of course, a giant hand and has mystery items you can feel of. The taste section has a camera so you can examine the taste buds on a giant tongue. And last but not least, the sight section sports a giant eye with long eyelashes, and my favorite feature, optical illusions. It's not every day you can say you've been stared at by Albert Einstein. This exhibit is something everyone can relate to in some way.
We realized that we really hadn't capitalized a lot on the 5 senses. So we met with our youth council and with our special needs task force, and we talked about ways that we can kind of integrate this content, this information into the museum's menu of exhibits.
The exhibit has activities to help children understand what it would be like to live without the full use or function of one of these 5 senses. Next time you feel like learning something new, take a trip to the Discovery Center. Reporting for CityTV, I'm Cecilia Herrell. Everyone has heard of apps like Uber and Lyft, or maybe you have even used those apps yourself. Well, now there is a new app that focuses on commuters in Murfreesboro.
Hitch, a company dedicated to reducing traffic congestion in the greater Nashville region, announced a grassroots marketing alliance with Murfreesboro. Murfreesboro City Mayor Shane McFarland welcomed community leaders for the announcement.
We have got to find better ways for transit and transportation solutions in Middle Tennessee. And with the In Motion bill that has come across with Senator Ketron's help on many different issues, we feel like we're getting closer to that. But we have all come to the conclusion that this is not just something that government can solve by themselves. It's something that the private sector is going to be able to be heavily involved in. And so people like Mark and the Hitch app is something that we are super excited about, that we can partner, that we can be able to promote. And we're proud to be able to be a part of Mark's launch, to be able to be part of the solution and be able to support the rideshare programs like he has.
Hitch and Murfreesboro leadership have an ambitious plan to convert thousands of commuters into carpoolers and reduce traffic by making it more convenient to share a ride.
In 1985, there was a car and there was a highway and there was traffic and there were no smartphones. And it just struck the Hitch team that we are all carrying around a smartphone, and it is one fantastic asset that we just don't use to fight traffic.
As we all know, transit is an issue that we are all looking for solutions to make our region as well as our county a better place to live and work. We are continuing to work on that, and I think by today's opportunity and announcement, I think you'll find that the Hitch app is not the transit solution, but it's certainly a transit solution. And so we're looking forward to launching that here today and learning more about it, and get you to tell your friends and colleagues about those opportunities.
Hitch Technology earned congestion mitigation and air quality grant funding through TDOT to help build a user community in the 6 Middle Tennessee counties impacted most by air quality issues: Davidson, Montgomery, Rutherford, Sumner, Williamson, and Wilson counties.
As you drive down the highway, you can see 38,000 cars on their way north every morning and on their way home every night, and 98% of them have one person in a car. It's a substantial investment we make in our cars, and we really haven't had the tool until now to match up with friends and neighbors and coworkers who share a common route so that we can share the ride. Just look to your right. That seat is an asset going to waste. That seat is an opportunity to take somebody to work who perhaps because they don't own a car or they're able and capable and willing to work, but they just can't afford a car. Why aren't we taking people to work? Why aren't we networking with our neighbors and going to the same place? Why aren't we working a little bit harder to carpool? The reason is it's not very easy. And we are kind of slightly addicted to easy in our culture.
The initial focus of this public-private partnership is to network communities along the I-24 corridor, from Clarksville through Nashville and then southeast through Rutherford County.
We have been working on our Murfreesboro 2035 plan, and what we found, Murfreesboro residents spend more time than any of the people in the 7-county region in their car driving back and forth to work. Now, internally, we're working on that with Paul, with Brian, and their staff. Our number one goal is to make sure that we create jobs in Murfreesboro where people don't have to drive to Davidson County and Williamson County. So that's something we're continually working on.
Wouldn't it be great if maybe 5 or 10% of the 38,000 people every day who drive to and from Murfreesboro decided that today might be the day that it would be convenient for them to carpool and they could match up? We want to take vehicle miles off the road. We want to take vehicles that don't have to be on the road off the road, and we want to help you do it.
Based in Nashville, Hitch offers a free and easy platform for both Apple and Android devices. Riders can download the app for free and use it to contribute to the driver's cost of gas on a voluntary basis.
You fire up this app, you download it, you invite your friends and neighbors and coworkers, they start downloading it, and you have placed your home and your work address in the cloud. Well, lo and behold, 3, 4, 5 weeks later, there's somebody you don't know that matches with you. They have nearly exactly the same home and or destination to match up on. So we're going to match you with friends, neighbors, and coworkers, and then also give you a chance to meet the people in the neighborhood right next door that also work at the Nissan plant, but they were in the accounting department and you were in the engineering department, and you didn't know that person. So the next thing we do is we suggest that you start to chat. So it's a closed environment, and you can express your schedule and you can coordinate the times of the week that you might like to carpool. Some people don't want to carpool on Monday because they know they're going to work late. Some people might not want to carpool on Friday because they want to scoot out as early as possible. And the next step in the process is essentially the ride. And you can see them coming. It's kind of cool. We're using that technology, for example. And then the final element of the platform is if you want to repeat and if you want to pay, you rate the rider, you rate the experience. And again, we're borrowing commonly understood app platform technologies, including payment for Visa, MasterCard, American Express, so that you can take that $5 and charge it and directly deposit it into the account of the driver. I think we're going to see Hitch as a solution.
For more information on the first true ride-sharing application in Tennessee and to download the app, visit www.hitch.me and follow them on Twitter @HitchMe. Mike Browning, CityTV.
Our local airport has been undergoing much-needed renovations over the past few years. One of the last steps is removing trees for FAA guidelines.
Last summer in 2015, we took care of the runway extension, built some taxiway extensions, some new connectors, took care of some drainage issues, things like that here on the airport. And this last part is to take care of the approaches into the new runway. We're still operating at the original short length of the runway of 3898, and this will bring us out to the total use of the new runway facility at 4750. This part of this project is to clear some trees off of some property that's right at the end of the runway. 3 properties are commercially zoned. One of them is already developed with State Farm, and 2 are undeveloped but are on the market. So the first thing that will probably happen on those properties is that they will be cleared as they do construction. So until then, there are some trees that are in that approach as we had predicted and as our plans had shown. So now we're going in with their approvals to go in and clear out an area in these commercially zoned area that's undeveloped right now. There's about 5 acres, and on the campus of State Farm there's 1 acre that we've identified about 18 trees. And then with State Farm, they have such a beautiful campus. We want to keep that going. We're going to replace the trees that we take down with a low-growing tree, something that's very similar to what they see on their campus, a lot of flowering trees, and working with them to replace those that are lost. So it's really it's a safety issue for the pilots that are coming in, and it helps us as the airport and as a community to meet the grant assurances that we have with the FAA to maintain a safe operating airport. In this case, this is a whole new approach for the airport, and what that means is that the pilots, when they come into the airport, especially flying under instrument conditions, have to really use their instrumentation in their aircraft to bring them down to certain levels, and then once they see the runway, they can land. And anytime that we can, any airport can improve those facilities, update their approaches, that's a really good thing. And in this case, with the new runway extension, that gives us an opportunity to improve our approaches. I don't know if we'll have any difference in minimum height that those aircraft will come down, but with new instrumentation, we have new landing lights out there that the pilots will use to come in. The number of the ball field lights that you see in McKnight Park, a number of them will have hazard lighting on there just as a safety precaution for the pilots, so they can see those lights at night when the ballparks are not being used. There's just a number of little things like that that allow us at this time to make those improvements. This whole project is funded through the FAA and our Tennessee Division of Aeronautics. 95% of it is being funded through them. So this is a very great project to have and make improvements here at the airport at a very affordable rate for our airport. And in this case, the airport's local share, the 5%, is taken care of through the revenues that are gathered from our fuel sales and hangar rents. Once the FAA approves and publishes the new approach, then we will be moving the lights that are around the runway and turning on the new approach lights, and really at that point is when the new runway is really in its full effect. We're hoping that the publication date will be in November. So once the trees are cleared, then the FAA will come in and actually fly it, check it for us, and hopefully give us an approval. What we understand is that it could take a year or 2 after you've worked on your runway to get the new approaches in, because it's those all around the country. There's work going on runways and airports, and eventually you just kind of have to fit in the slot, and it just depends on how backed up the FAA is.
Food trucks are gaining more popularity every day, and the City of Murfreesboro has been working with the local food service industry to come up with an ordinance to help welcome these small business owners. The City of Murfreesboro has been receiving public input as the City Council looks to adopt new regulations in the City Code on food trucks operating within the city limits. Multiple stakeholder meetings for food truck operators, restaurant owners, and interested citizens have taken place at Murfreesboro City Hall. These meetings were held in an effort to better accommodate food industry professionals. City staff and members of the Murfreesboro City Council were on hand to engage attendees. Assistant City Manager Jennifer Moody took the first draft of the ordinance to a couple of August meetings. The citizens looked it over, made suggestions, and then the city brought a second draft back to a September meeting. We are seeking to balance the flexibility of allowing food trucks within the city limits with regulations necessary for the health, safety, and welfare of our citizens, Moody explained. The city has strived to work together with the public to come up with an ordinance to benefit downtown, city parks, and community events.
You know, it's very important that everyone in this city has an opportunity to operate in business. You know, if you want a truck, you can build you one. If I want a business, I can build me a business. So, you know, that's where I'm at. You know, I know it's always going to be some glitches here or there. There's going to be some rules that we may not like and maybe some rules that they will not like. But in the long run, I think this is going to be a good move for Murfreesboro City. I think the process went very well. You know, I'm very pleased with the city's willingness to listen to us as food truck owners. You know, we didn't get everything we wanted, and I don't think the brick and mortar got everything they wanted, but I think when we leave the table, you know, everybody is going to be happy, but you can't please everybody. I'm happy, I'll say that.
The new regulations in the ordinance define food trucks, locations, hours of operations, operating requirements, mobile food service permits, and food truck rally permits. The next step, the ordinance will go to the City Council for their approval. The ordinance draft is on the city's website for the public to review. Look under the Doing Business tab on the city's homepage at www.murfreesborotn.gov. Well, that's it for this edition of In the City. As always, for more information about the City of Murfreesboro, you can always visit our website anytime at murfreesborotn.gov. Or if you want to see one of the stories that you've seen today or catch up on some of the latest city news, you can always visit the City of Murfreesboro's YouTube channel. And now, since I'm a huge animal lover, we are going to leave you with some pictures of this year's puppy plunge taken by Jim Davis. I'm Cecilia Herrell, and until next time, we look forward to seeing you in the city.